13th, 2023 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Should have got those emailed.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I move for approval of the minutes as they are printed.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the April 13th, 2023 meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Approval of the minutes for the May 30th, 2023 meeting. Same process. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes as emailed?
Mr. Chairman, all of our friends online would love to hear you guys. So they just love the sound of your voices. So if you could make sure you, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there,
I'll move that we approve the minutes as presented.
all right, thank you, sir. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that we approve the minutes for the May 30th, 2023 meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. New business, discussion and action regarding selection of the 2023 Wings and Wheels t-shirt design. Amanda.
Vicky.
Sorry.
Okay, so we had a t-shirt design contest that started about beginning of June, lasted about a month. And we just sent it out to the schools, the college, all over social media, and asked for people to submit their designs, and then we would have the Civil Aviation Board pick. So we went through and picked, how many did we do? 5, 6?
5 or 6.
Our top 5. We ended up with about
13 total.
13 submissions. So we're just gonna go through the ones that we picked for you guys to look at.
Okay.
So these two, we decided would be second and third place. The first one would be we would use for our advertising, so they'll go on the posters, all social media. The second one will be for stickers. If we decide to do like kids' temporary tattoos, we'll use that one for that. This is one of our designs. So those were the ones that we selected out of the 13 for you guys to pick from. And then this will be on the official Wings and Wheels shirt that will sell at the event, and some of them will be given out to probably the winners of the car show. They'll be given out to staff. But
Those are incredible.
now
Gosh.
you guys have the hard decision to make.
And when would you like this decision made?
Now.
I thought you were going to say that. I was guessing that.
We want to try to get the shirts ordered as soon as we possibly can, so.
Can you run through them again?
Yeah, please.
Or is there a way to put them up there all at once, or?
And you should have the handout in front of each of you. Oh, you didn't? Oh, here, they can have mine. And so while they're looking through them, Vicky,
Yes.
why don't you tell them what the winner will win?
You took my paper away. Now I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay.
We will.
The winner will get to be an honorary judge for the car show and air show. They will also get a gift basket from the city. They will get 2 free T-shirts. Yes. 2 free T-shirts. What else am I missing? Yeah, they get to be judge. They get multiple introductions at the event itself as well.
I'm not sure.
Hey, Vicki, how does it work where you guys have already picked out second and third place? Does that rule them out for us to pick them for first place or?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one with all the colors, the only reason we didn't pick that one, and we all liked it, it was just there were too many colors. And so that starts to add to the price of the shirt
Oh,
with
okay.
the more colors you do. So we tried to keep it to 3 colors if possible.
Okay, all right, good. Well, thank you.
Mr. Vice Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say that they all look great, with the exception of, well, the one with the car, this one, with the car forward, it's too much automobile forward and not enough airplane. I don't know if you guys probably think the same thing.
That's a great point, Steve. Thank you for
It's the airport that we're trying to market, yeah.
exact. Yes, sir.
So y'all want to eliminate that one out of consideration?
Yes, I'm okay with that. Or
Vice
how
Chair,
about
I'll
everybody
move.
else okay with that?
I'll move that we strike that one.
All right. Do I hear a second that we strike Wings and Wheels with the Cadillac on it?
They have names, I want to say, at the top of each one of them. That one's just Wings and Wheels, I think.
So-
Yeah,
The
that
other
was-
one's, some
so
one's like
Okay,
retro,
Wings
one's
and Wheels.
neon.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And
Yeah.
we did ask them, when they were submitting theirs, that they had to include a community car show, a static plane show, and a military fly-in. So we asked that they all at least had those 3 in the,
Okay. Yeah, so Steve, that makes a lot of sense. So are all of you okay with striking that one?
Yes.
Yes.
And then they also had to have the Clovis brand on there too.
The airport and
the airport logo.
the city.
You know,
Wow. Okay.
if I can just butt in and tell you what I like.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
I like the neon wheels, except for what was just explained is that part of the criteria was we needed to have the Clovis, City of Clovis logo. We have the airport on there, but we
The
don't
city
have.
It's on the
logo's at the
bottom
very
right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see on there.
okay. All right, so I'm back on track. So I kind of like that. I kind of like that one because it has a couple of different planes, as well as a cool classic car. So I like that one. I also feel like that a really strong contender would be the retro feels Wings and Wheels. Those are my thoughts.
All right, thank you, sir. Jamie, do you have a preference? 1 and 2, I guess, would probably be
I do. I think I'm with the mayor, and retro was my number 1 as well. That neon, I think, was a little, I don't know. The colors are hard to see against that gray background. I don't know what color the T-shirts are going to be.
That's the color they'll be.
That's the
they'll
color.
be the gray.
Okay. I think retro feels Wings and Wheels for me is number 1.
okay.
And I think the Wings and Wheels 23, there's 2 of them labeled 2023, but no. It's the same
Yeah.
shirt on 2 different slides. I guess maybe the Wings and Wheels 23, this one on the last page,
Okay,
would be my number 2.
number 2, all right. Mr. Tejas.
I really like the Retro Feels Wings and Wheels as my favorite. And number 2 for me is going to be the Neon Wheels.
Steve.
Retro wheels, for first. And, I just like the neon on this wings and wheels. The one that's, it doesn't have any aircraft or cars on it. Well, yeah, it does. But it's the black with the turquoise. I kinda like it.
Okay,
But retro feels, wings and wheels, I like that for first.
okay. All right. And, I'm fine with retro feels, wings and wheels. I think that it meets all the criteria. And, is that okay with everyone?
It has the city logos kind of bolded more than the other ones do. They're up there at the top. And I just like the colors. The big orange meatball and the kind of attracts your attention,
Yeah, and
attracts your eye.
the antique airplane with the jets, and the hot rod car. All right, do I hear a motion that we, choose, the retro feels wings and wheels?
Also move.
All right, got a motion, a second?
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Retro Fields, Wings and Wheels.
Thank you. And we'll announce the winner on our Facebook towards the end of the week. And that we'll also put on there who the designer was.
Okay. Boy, you guys did a great job of getting wonderful candidates here. These are amazing. So thank you. Appreciate it. Amanda, would you like to introduce your guest before I forget about that?
That one or this one?
Yes, yes.
All three of them. I think you have three guests.
I do. My husband and my son, Fred and Austin, they're sitting out in the audience.
Fred, we're so glad that you and Austin are here today, and we're glad you're part of the city. And Fred also works for the city of Clovis, and it's great that you guys are here today. Thank you. Yes, Amanda, and do you have someone else to
This
introduce?
is Hannah. We have a short introduction for her a little bit later on in the meeting.
Okay, that'll be fine. Great. All right, old business, the fire truck update.
Yeah, so just a quick update on that. We've been working with the FAA, and they believe that we may have funding here soon to be able to bid that out for a larger ARF truck than what we currently have. So we're moving the process forward and getting all of the required documents ready for that. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel for the ARF truck.
Good. Do we have to give the other truck back, or how does that work? Does it stay in city inventory?
It's FAA purchase, so it has to stay at the airfield.
Okay.
And it would just be a secondary in the event of an emergency.
Great. All right, super. Thank you.
I've got a question. Is the new truck going to fit in the existing facility?
No. We have to do some working on that. It's going to be about a year, probably a little bit more than that, to build once we get to that point. So we have a little bit of time to figure out where we're going to put it. We have a couple of ideas, but there are some criteria for where we have to put it. It has to be heated and some stuff like that. So we're working on that, and we'll have a place for it. We have to.
Thank you.
Is that something the FAA will pay for also in addition to the fire truck?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
That is a requirement of the airport to have. If they fund it, we have to have a sufficient location for it.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So other than the heating and air conditioning, are there any structural requirements as far as, can it be a metal building that's insulated?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good question. Thank you. Summer fuel cells.
Yes. Summer's always a good time for pilots. They like to fly a lot. And we had some really positive increases in our fuel sales and was pretty excited about it. We were up 85% over our winter fuel sales. for avgas and 75% for jet fuel. So just wanted to bring that to you guys and show you that we're really expanding in the general aviation side as well.
Are we still getting a lot of helicopters? For a while there, we really were getting a lot of helicopters. Are they still showing up?
They've slowed down a little bit. They were doing a lot of training with Canon, so they were stationed with us while they were doing training operations, but it's slowed down. We're still getting them periodically, but not quite as much as what we were.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions about fuel cells? All right, taxiway A and runway reconstruction update.
Yes. So this project is also moving forward. It has been bid out, right? And awarded, I believe. We're looking to phase this project out a little bit to kind of work with the airline. So we're looking to do the runway portion of it probably in the winter because the airline will have to use the crosswind runway. With that, they'll have to downsize their aircraft because the crosswind is a shorter runway and we don't have the capabilities for runoff on that end. But so we're gonna try and stretch it out as far as possible, but the taxiway will hopefully be started in, I believe, September is what we're looking at currently.
Are they taking it down to the base? Are they just gonna do a mill and fill, or?
The taxiway, they're doing full depth reconstruction, and the runway, they're just doing a crack seal and top coat.
Okay. And does the new terminal affect that in the taxiway in any way?
No.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anything else that you would like to bring before us, Amanda, concerning the airport?
Let's see.
Or Justin, or?
We have been working very diligently to try and get rental cars out at the airfield. We've talked to Enterprise a few times and haven't really gotten anywhere with it. Tina's with Economic Development. We've been working with Economic Development to try and get somewhere with that. She has also talked to Enterprise and said, hey, you know, you're local. We would love to have you as our first choice to have vehicles out at our airfield. They said that they were going to get in contact with us. We haven't heard anything yet, but that is a large stumbling block currently at the airport. We're turning away at least one aircraft a day, and with frustration to do that because we don't have rental cars available. We have crew cars, but often planes will, they'll fly in or they'll want to go for the week or drop it off at a different location, and we can't do that with our crew cars. So we're very limited, but we're working really hard, and we're going to reach out to other companies to see what we can do if Enterprise turns out not to be something we can pursue at this time.
Okay, great.
And Mr. Chairman, the conversations have been interesting because as Amanda's had the opportunity to speak with like the regional managers, they do express an interest in doing it. But it's, when you get down to the lower level management, it's where it seems to be a disconnect. And so trying to close that gap on that disconnect and hopefully get the attention of those regional managers to say, hey, there is a market here that you guys are missing out on and an opportunity here that you're missing out on. What has happened is with our local in-town enterprise, they don't have the fleet. And so a lot of times they're limited on what they would have availability to try to get out to the airport. And so that's hopefully that market will free up and they'll see that and be able to acquire that fleet to be able to supply our airport. We even looked at the possibility of us basically being a vendor for Enterprise, and we would be the one that lease out the vehicles for them if they can get that fleet acquired and stationed out at the airport itself. So definitely is something that we want to continue to work on, and as we have been in the past trying to get to solve this issue, but if necessary we will start reaching out to those other companies that provide rental services because we need to solve that issue. Absolutely.
I think we're there.
Yep.
I think we're there. We've been talking Enterprise for years, and they haven't taking advantage of the opportunity. And makes me wonder if, you know, Roswell is in a situation similar to Clovis, whereas there's no major interstates nearby, you know? Do they have rental car service at their airport?
They
I don't-
do. They have quite a few rental car agencies there.
And so those corporations would be more familiar with what it would be like to service an airport that's a little bit off the beaten path like Clovis. And I wonder if one of those.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. We'll definitely, we can look up and see who Roswell has, and then that's a great idea, so we'll reach out.
Good deal. Thank you.
Great.
And then, Mr. Chairman, just a quick update on the terminal. Obviously, continuing to work on that, really heavily focused on the environmental assessment currently. And so our consultants, they've done their biological reviews, they've done their endangered species reviews. We have to send out a list of letters to potentially impacted parties. So we've sent letters out to Curry County, we've sent letters out to ourselves. Letters have gone out to DOD. We have to send out letters to all the tribes that are potentially in our area. And so that's all going out, waiting to hear feedback from those. Then we'll start compiling the environmental assessment, submit that to the FAA. We've sent them some preliminary information, draft documents for them to start to review. So they're going through that. And then we'll get that all compiled. While that's ongoing, parallel, we're still continuing to work on the design. Obviously, you guys saw the artist rendering of the elevations of it, what it can look like. And so pressing forward still with that concept and moving forward with those design plans. Goal is to have the design plans completed by the end of the summer. And that way, when the notice of funding opportunity opens back up for the airport's terminal program, we'll be ready to go. And in the meantime, once we get to that point of completion, we'll probably look at going to meet with the FAA representatives out in Fort Worth, just to provide them an update and show them that we are ready. The FAA, Andy Vallejos, has been a great asset for us and continues to champion our project on his end and trying to do what he can to help us secure funding for that project.
The renderings were great. That is so exciting to think that the first thing that people will see when they arrive to Clovis, New Mexico is that beautiful building. It's really something to be proud of. I love the huge Clovis on both sides. That's really wonderful. Did any of the rest of of you have any concerns or anything about the rendering as presented, or what did you guys think about it?
I thought it was great. I like the high spaces. I like all the windows and the natural light. I think it's going to look. I know Moles and Corbin's guy in Ruidoso, I forget his name now, but he told me, he said it's going to look a lot like Hobbs's terminal. And it really doesn't, but it's got that same concept. But ours is distinct from that too, so. Yeah, I was worried there when he said that, it might look too much like theirs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we
no,
want to be like Hobbs.
But I like it, it looks good. I like the open space.
No, I think when you talk hometown friendly, it really looks inviting. It really does.
That's a really good point.
I mean, it's catchy to the eye, and it's very modern. And, you know, for looking at the same building we've had at the airport for years, I think it's going to be a welcome change.
I do too.
I've had people tell me now that terminal, more days than not, is crowded. It's too crowded.
It
And,
is, yeah.
Especially if they have to wait. If there's a delay, and they're saying that it's just not enough space. So I guess our passenger counts must be good.
They are. They're increasing monthly.
That's good.
Well, it's impressive to see the numbers going in and out, and look at that parking lot every time you go out there.
How does Denver Air Connection feel about having to reduce the size of the airplane during the runway reconstruction? Is that a major obstacle for them?
It's a little bit of a challenge. They have to, book so many seats for a period of time. We're we're working with them very diligently to phase it as best as possible. So, you know, the thing with construction projects is it never starts or finishes on time, typically. So we've told them it'll be a week at a time. So we're hoping that we can make it, if we have to do this week, then we can have a break and then do it again in another week. So they're not booking the smaller aircrafts out for such a long period of
Oh,
time.
okay.
So operationally, it shouldn't be too challenging for them.
I see.
It would cut our passenger count for that week, but not too bad.
Great, okay.
How many weeks total are we looking at having to take place?
That hasn't been set yet, and so we've been having meetings with Denver Air, with our contractor, with our consultants, with the FAA, coordinating all these efforts, and so really putting together that construction phasing plan right now, and trying to find ways. I mean, whether that be, and the contractor didn't bid night work, and obviously night work, while it's convenient for the airlines because they're not flying. However, it's a more expensive way of doing construction because you got to have lights and everything else out there. And so trying to look at it, you know, is there ways that we can construct it to where as Denver Air is coming in, we can potentially get off the runway, allow them to land, et cetera, do what they need to do. Then once they're gone again, then we can pull construction teams back out on the runway to start performing their work again. So trying to limit it, but we haven't locked down the exact schedule yet.
Okay, and I asked that because I'm thinking, you know, how can we minimize the loss of enplanements? Do you think Denver Air would be willing to add a flight per day for that period of time?
We had mentioned that, but because of how they currently use their smaller aircraft, it's very challenging for them to do more than one aircraft per day for us. So that would be great, but it's not really feasible for what their schedule looks like.
Okay. Does that affect both Denver and Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing that was interesting is, and I'm not a pilot, and so as they start talking about, you know, summer months versus winter months, and obviously your air densities and being able, your runway lengths and how those tie into your glide slopes, et cetera. And so how that impacts the runways that they can utilize and potentially use the ERJs. And if we're working on one end of the main runway, you know, does that still provide them enough room to perform their operations for, like, when we're doing the crack seal on the or the joint replacement on the concrete, you know, that's on the far, we're going to call that the north side. So can they do the cracks or the joint replacement and still utilize the rest of the runway while we have a contractor up there? Those are things that are being considered and evaluated.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, what's your thought on the renderings of the terminal?
Thanks, Mr. Vice Chairman. I concur with everyone. I think they're outstanding. I like what Captain Tejas had to say about hometown welcoming, certainly. And you know, I've flown Denver Air several times now recently. Anyway, just seems like a couple weeks ago. Anyway, I flew up to Denver for the weekend, flew back, and it's crowded in our little terminal, and it's hot, and you know, and when that plane comes in, you know, it's double-edged for me because as mayor, I'm so proud to see all the people that are taking advantage of it, and I love to see the line of traffic waiting to pick up their loved ones and friends that have flown into our city, and so it's all very exciting. But it's crowded and it's hot, and and especially, you know, the luggage situation. I just feel for the Denver Air crew, you know, having to lug the luggage into the lobby there and you know, dump it all out on the floor. And but no, as far as the renderings, I think they're just wonderful. So proud of them.
Great, thank you. Justin, what's the soonest that building could be completed?
Assuming you have funding for that building,
We're assuming that.
I would say, oh gosh, it's going to take us nearly a year to construct the senior center. And so which doesn't have all of the parking lot as the same size of a parking lot plus an apron that we'd have to construct. So, I mean, that's a good year and a half, probably 2-year project from the time you tell a contractor to go.
Okay,
At least.
Yeah.
yeah, all right. Well, certainly is exciting. Any other discussion, any other questions or comments?
I would just ask that, where are we in the process of applying to the FAA? We had the design done, Bowles Corbin. That's already been submitted to the FAA, I'm assuming.
The application for the funding,
Right.
they had the feds haven't released this next round. They don't expect to release it closer because their fiscal year's obviously being in October. They don't expect it to release maybe late summer, early fall to release that out for applications.
Okay, and our submittal's ready to go as soon as it
We will be.
opens?
Absolutely. I mean, what'll strengthen our application for this year from last year is the fact that we have everything ready to go. And so we can show that, hey, if you give us funding for this, we're ready to bid. And so I think that's huge for us.
Right. These newest diagrams, great. I think that just helps us so much more.
Absolutely. We're going to use that to tell our story when we hopefully meet with the FAA here come late August.
They can look at pictures instead of just numbers.
Exactly.
You know, it really sells it better, I
Yep.
think. So, that's all I have.
And we'll get a picture of the mayor in the terminal sweating, standing in line. It's gonna be
Happy to help in that way if I can. Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
or
sir.
Mr. Vice Chairman, while we're still just having discussion about the airport and the success of Denver Air and so forth, I skimmed the minutes from the May 30th meeting, and I don't see where I reported in there. I've reported to the city commission about a meeting that Mr. Howalt and I had with Denver Air Connect, their CEO and not sure of the title, but the second in charge, back on May 16th, and I had asked Mr. Howalt to organize that meeting and was pleased that they accepted it. We had a video meeting. Have I told you all the story already? I'm very sorry.
Go ahead,
I don't think
please.
I don't think I reported here. I did report to the city commission. In any case, my goal for having that meeting was to assess Denver Air Connection's interest in an aviation maintenance facility on our airport, right? But also to thank them for the amazing service that they're giving us. And it was kind of comical because we come onto the video meeting and we make a little bit of awkward small talk, and then Justin finally says, "It's your meeting, Mayor." And so I said, I poured on the compliments. They're genuine. I mean it. It's amazing. It's VIP top rate service that we're air service in and out of Clovis, and it's amazing. And so I thanked them for that, and had several other comments, and then there was silence, and finally they said, is that it? Is that what this meeting is about? And I said, well, yeah. And they said, oh, we thought, the mayor wants to talk to us. There must be something wrong. And I can relate to that. So I apologize for putting them through that. But anyway, thank them for their service, and then ask them, how can we stay ahead of maybe any opportunities that could exist in the future. And I threw out the idea of an aviation maintenance facility. And at first it was sort of neither here nor there for them. And then they said, you know what, it's not the worst idea. And they kind of started to brainstorm on the spot about how maybe they could do that. And it concluded with them saying, look, if you construct a maintenance facility, there's no situation where we don't occupy it at some level, right? And so we now have, a willing partner in them to explore that opportunity. And so, this is in its infancy, even more so than the terminal. As Mr. Howalt was reminding you a while ago, we don't have the money for that yet, but we're talking about, walking into it and looking at how the sunlight hits on things and whatnot. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves on this either. But I just think that we have a wonderful opportunity, and I'm not the only one. A lot of us have talked about this for years, but to have an aviation maintenance facility on the airport would be amazing. To have an airline like Denver Air Connect leverage it, use it for some of their maintenance would be amazing. We imagine an aviation maintenance program stood up at Clovis Community College, or Mr. Howalt actually found out during the process of digging into this that Eastern New Mexico already has that program, and they deliver it down in Roswell. Don't know why they couldn't maybe deliver it here, so maybe CCC, maybe Eastern, but we have a program. Maybe we catch retirees from the Air Force, and they could go through the program, and we have a working schoolhouse on the airport, but, that's also being used by an airline. Anyway, just wanted to share that. Denver Air Connect is amazing, so it's just great to have a meeting with them and check in and thank them, but then dream with them about what could be at our airport. And just, wanted to let you know that idea that seed has been planted. Justin is working with, working on meetings to pursue economic development grants and the other, and the like, that could be how we could accomplish that. But it's just an idea at this point, but it's an exciting one.
It really is. I think it's wonderful that we could involve the NMU and the community college. But I just think of just this constant flow of people retiring or leaving the Air Force that are trained, highly trained aircraft mechanics, that we could just have a job market here. That has to be desirable, I would think, to Denver Air Connection.
Yeah, possibly, and I just think it's important that we, we have to stay grounded, but we need to dream big and try and imagine some really exciting things, set some high and worthy goals around those, and work towards them. And so that's an example and a bright spot.
We have a rare opportunity with the terminal, and we need to make the most of it. However, we can leverage off of that terminal.
Well, it was interesting, the Denver Air Connect guys made a comment kind of as we were wrapping up that I liked. They said, the way you guys are thinking about your airport and some of the stuff you're talking about doing, we can tell that you have big plans, and it was just neat to hear them acknowledge that.
It's exciting.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Amanda, anything else?
It's a lot of projects. Well, I was joking with Justin today. I said, yeah, the corner over here, we're going to put our airline or cargo ramp for the 747s. And
Okay,
got
for
plenty
the,
of room.
Thicker pavement.
for the good of the order, introduction of Hannah Brown.
Yes, this is Hannah Brown. She's our new administrative assistant. She comes to us from Boise, Idaho, and she is a aviation specialist, right, in the National Guard. She's been with us for about 3 weeks now, I think, and she has been a huge help. She's been a great asset to the airport. She's been extremely willing to learn and often running out of work to do, which is great because I was getting into a lot of paperwork with Mr. Baker and Ms. Bacca leaving. But Hannah has been a great help, and we are very excited to have her.
Welcome.
Yes, very nice to have you, and we look forward to your continued service to the airport. It's, as we've discussed, I think it's just bigger and brighter things to come. So it's neat that she'll be a part of it. Yeah, would you like to bring us up to date on the employees' situation?
So we currently have 2 open positions at the airport. We have the maintenance supervisor position, which was Lee's position. That is posted, and we're accepting applications for that. We also have a maintenance and custodian position that is open. That position was previously a part-time custodian, but with the growth of the airfield, we moved it into a full-time position, which I think will be a great help. And that one was just posted yesterday, so we have those 2 positions open. We filled the administrative assistant position. So we're back down to 2 positions, and we have a bunch of applicants for both, so we're moving forward.
Great. All right. Anything else for the good of the order or questions before we adjourn? All right. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn the meeting?
Mr. Vice Chair, I'll move that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.